Hi everyone! Today I will be unboxing the YuzuSoft Pentabox. This is the 15th anniversary pack and includes all of their games from Buraban all the way up to Noboru Wagsu. So it's a really cool pack that they decided to bring out for their 15th anniversary and have new art of all of the old heroines, so I was really happy about that. I pre-ordered from Ami Ami Japan, so it came with a pre-order bonus of an F3 sized canvas art of both Chihaya and Tae from Buraban and Natsuzora Kanata. They had a bunch of different combinations, so you could pick out which two girls were your favourite from various games, and hopefully there would be a bonus that would suit you. For me, my two favourite games were Buraban and Natsuzora Kanata. I just need to say that this thing is massive. It's really big. I was expecting a normal sized eroge box. It's really big. All of the eroge as well, they're numbered from 1 to 5. Of course, we have Buraban, Exit, Natsuzora Kanata, Tenshin, and Noboru Wagsu, all extremely famous and loved games by everyone. The games themselves come out like big books, and they're all labelled with their title, their number, and also the new illustration of each heroine, which is really cool to see. And if you open it up, it comes with a whole bunch of things as well. So each one comes with the original soundtrack. There is actually a little pocket here in the side with a pamphlet about each game. So I will go through each game separately and take a look. This is really nostalgic to see Buraban all newly packaged. It's really cool. Starting with Buraban, we have the information on the original soundtrack on the left side. There's also a small pocket here to store the pamphlet, which is really cool. There's also the game disc and also the original soundtrack, both disc 1 and 2. And the new illustration is used on the game disc, whereas the original soundtracks both have the original illustrations on there. There's this really cool pattern in the background of all of the characters. This is really well put together and really high quality. And the booklet, of course, just has some of the older illustrations along with the story synopsis and the original characters with their rough illustrations there as well. And there's also some CGs at the back. And the second game is of course Exit. This is Yu-chan on the front. Again, we have the same pattern in the background, just a different colour to match the game, along with the original game disc and the original soundtrack there too. There's also the original soundtrack information on the left. And I really like the music for this game since, of course, the ending theme is by Shimotsuki Haruka, who I really like. And the pamphlet has the original game art on the front there. And inside we have the story synopsis, along with the character information. And also an interview with the staff as well, along with some CGs there. The pamphlets are a really good idea since if you've never even played a YuzuSoft game before, they do a really good job at explaining the story and the synopsis and the characters. Even if you're unfamiliar, you can pick up the Pentabox and be introduced to YuzuSoft games through buying this. And on to my favourite YuzuSoft game ever. This is Natsuzora Kanata, which is the third game in their Pentabox and the third game that they made as YuzuSoft. And we open it up. This is really nice. This is actually the picture that I use as my background and my lock screen on everything. So this is really cool to see as the cover of the pamphlet. Natsuzora Kanata comes with 2 pamphlets, which is great since I love this game. So I'm really glad that there's 2 and not just 1. And of course we have the very famous illustration of the game saying welcome to Togento. It's really nostalgic to see all of this in a booklet, so I'm really glad that they put these together. And that's the back there. So this one's quite short since there is a second one that sort of focuses more on the brand and the game as well. So this is volume 2. Again with this illustration. This one is actually landscape rather than portrait. But the introduction just talks about how YuzuSoft made a name for themselves with Buraban in 2006. I think this is probably very nostalgic for many people who like YuzuSoft, but of course here is Chihaya, who is my favourite character There's also some comments from her seiyuu there as well. This is just really nice to flick through even if you have or haven't played the game. It's both a good introduction and also a nice piece of nostalgia. There's also the game disc at the top and of course the soundtrack discs at the bottom. The soundtrack information on the side there too. Next we have the very famous Tenshin. This was also around the time when YuzuSoft started to get more figures of their characters being released. The same as the rest of them, this one comes with a game disc along with the original soundtrack disc 1 and both disc 2 as well. Unlike the rest of them, Tenshin had a fan disc as well called Tenshin Happy Go Lucky. That one doesn't come on a disc, so they've added the download code for it on an illustration board. So they could have just stuck a piece of paper in there with the code on it, but they've been really nice and added a really well-made illustration card with the code on the back, so that's really nice to see. So this is for Happy Go Lucky and not just normal Tenshin. It's best to play this after you've played through Tenshin itself. The pamphlet, this is just for the normal Tenshin and not the fan disc. But again, this is really nostalgic. This one's very pink. And it even talks about the character songs for each character too, which is some interesting information. There's also on the CGs and Muririn's in there, Kobuichi's in there, Sakakibara Yui's in there, which is great. And also just some things about the system. You can change the colour of the window. This was actually quite a cool game at the time since there were so many different system settings you could play around with. Instead of how it used to be, it's been turned into a HD version. And there's also the character songs as well. And again, the information for the soundtrack is just on the side there. And of course, Sakakibara Yui sings for this one too. Lastly but not least, we have Noble Works, which is the 5th and final game in the Pentabox, along with the final game that YuzuSoft made that they considered to be old enough to have an anniversary remake. Again, this is the same as the rest, where we have the game disc, both the soundtrack disc 1 and disc 2, along with a nice pamphlet. So you can see definitely the art improved a lot over the years between Buraban and Noble Works. So we just have the synopsis. So we have Akari-chan there. There's also the character songs being advertised in this one too. So just mostly the character information, some CGs. And again, we have some comments from both Shimotsuki Haruka and Sakakibara Yui, who are very prominent in YuzuSoft games. There's also Fumishin, who is the director for the soundtrack. There's also CGs, but again, I don't think I'll show them in the video just for the sake of it being a little bit R18. But we have the charm points of Noble Works. We have Noble Works no 魅力。ご存知、小渕無理りの2人によって書かれた可愛くエロいセレブなグラフィック。それが今作でも HD ワイドサイズで楽しめますって。So, it's been again made into HD size, so it will look really nice. And both the erotic scenes along with the backgrounds have been updated. And that concludes my video on the YuzuSoft Pentabox. I'm really looking forward to playing through all of these old games and revisiting a couple of them. Again, this is really nice just for display. It's really big, but it looks really good. If you have a collection of YuzuSoft goods or games or anything, this will look great with those. Everything's really high quality and well made. Nothing felt cheap or anything like that. So it's really clear to see that YuzuSoft care about their fans, and this is their way of thanking them for the past 15 years. And I'm just really pleased that I was able to pick up the pre-order bonus that I wanted of both Tae and Chihaya-chan from Buraban Natsuzora Kanata. The Pentabox itself, I believe, was made to order, so I'm not sure how easy this is to pick up now. If you can get a hold of this, I cannot recommend it more. This is perfect for anyone that likes YuzuSoft, or even if you're a beginner into YuzuSoft games, or if you just like eroge in general, this is a really luxury set to have. Thank you very much for watching until the end of the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!